Spirit saying?
Well, the first thing before I get to what the Holy Spirit's saying, I just love hearing all the Aussie accents. So thank you. It's good for my soul. It's good for our soul. The Holy Spirit's saying so much. I think to try and keep it really succinct, I think we are on the cusp, Australia, the world, but I want to speak to Australia right now. Australia is on the cusp of viral revival. The harvest is not just ripe, it's ready. And I know everyone would agree with that. But for me, what that means for us as a church is that our expectations need to shift so that we don't treat the harvest, we don't treat people like we have in other seasons. We treat them with an expectation that as we speak to them, they're ready to say yes. They're ready to run to Jesus. They're ready to enter into the kingdom. They're not holding back anymore. God has made them ready. And so the harvest isn't just ripe, it's desperate for what we carry right now. And so that's an exciting season. And as we cross into this new era, as I think we're all saying, and I think Lana is, been championing the prophetic community in decreeing a new era. But as we step into the new era, we're changing the way we think, because we don't cross from the wilderness into the promised land without having to change how we do life. We now need to know how to steward abundance, not manage lack. We are coming into a season where we have to know how to steward abundant harvest, how to steward abundant authority, how to steward abundant glory, how to steward abundant revival, how to steward abundant influence. And this is something I really feel for Australia that excites me. The world's eyes are on the Australian prophetic community in this season. We carry currency for the world in this season. Even just our accent carries currency in the nations right now. And so God is really raising up the Australian prophetic voice. And so I'm excited about that. But I also want to encourage us to continue to cheer and celebrate and champion each other on, but also not to step back from the spotlight. I know I said this with the FaceTime with Beck the other day, but I want to say this. I think as Aussies, we are sick of talking about the tall poppy syndrome. We're sick of that. But there are some hangers on from coming out of that season. And I think we've done so much to kill that thing and to rise above it. But I do think that we are still learning to grow in our honor of championing people when influence and spotlight comes on us. If we are going to steward this promised land lifestyle and the influence that is about to be unleashed over the Australian prophetic voice, then we need to learn how to steward influence, celebrate influence, not tell people they're being full of themselves or full of pride when God is raising up their voice. You know, the Bible in Matthew talks about putting a light on a lampstand. I think Australia, the prophetic community, your voice is about to be put on a lampstand, and the entire nations are going to run to the words of wisdom that Aussies are releasing. You know why? Because we understand battles, we understand conquering, we understand fighting, we understand having to forge through the fire to release what God is doing, but we also understand how to do that with a smile on our face, have fun doing it, know how to be friends with each other, know how to smile and make fun of hard situations. And we understand relational, just being relational. And the world's so hungry for that. The world's hungry for real. And so I'm excited that what God is raising up in this season is family, real, fear of the Lord, and fun all at once for revival, viral revival, and for what God's breaking out. And the world is looking to the Australian voice. And so I guess one of the greatest things I hear at the moment is to learn how to manage abundance and steward abundance well, specifically influence, specifically harvest, and specifically authority that's coming on us in this season. I've got to say one other thing real quick. We're at a tipping point, I believe, in the nations, and it's so important as God highlights decrees. You know, there are certain things I think that we need to decree out and then decree in. Just, can I give one example?
Go.
It's sickening my spirit at the moment how often we are hearing about social distancing. That is not a new normal that God is putting into the earth right now. We are coming into a new normal, but we are not entering a COVID new normal, as I saw the Victorian Premier talk about yesterday. It sickened me. We don't want a COVID new normal. We pull that down in our authority as a prophetic community.
Yes.
We say there is a glorious new normal that we are entering into, but it's going to contain social connection and stadiums full and buildings flourishing full of people, as well as online viral revival. And so I just think that there's such a tipping point for prophets at the moment to prophesy the language of a God new normal, not a COVID new normal.
Amen. Woohoo! I love that, Jodie. Oh,